So in this video, we're going to talk about get and set accessors. And we use these idea of get and set accessors inside of the properties that I previously mentioned that are part of our classes. And so I have another car analogy since cars seem to work well. Everyone kind of understands cars, maybe not how they work, but we've used one. And so in this case, a car manufacturer does not want drivers to have to take apart the car to observe the amount of gas in the tank. Instead, they make it very easy for the driver to access that information by checking the fuel gauge on the dashboard, right? Likewise, a bank doesn't want customers to walk into the vault to find out the money in their account, right? They make it easy through the teller to find out how much money they have. So when applying the same idea to a class, we use a public property to control access to the private variable through get and set accessors. So let's look at how these are written. We use the keyword public because we want them to be accessible. And this one's going to be for my name variable. So the data types have to match, and the naming convention is typically to give the private variable a lowercase name and the property an uppercase name, but there's nothing that's going to hold you to that convention. So our get and set accessors go inside of the curly brace block for the property. So this whole section here is the property. And we can have a get accessor and we can have a set accessor. So these are called implicitly, which means by accessing the name variable and in a way that implies we want to get the information inside of it, it's going to call the get accessor, which is going to return the name variable, right? The private variable that we have. Whomever is asking for that information, let's say it's the main over in our original program, that information will be publicly available. The set is how we can control the information that's going into the variable, which means we can set specific rules or conditions using some of those if statements and conditional operators we've already looked at to make sure that the values that are being set into our variables are appropriate. So in our set, we take our variable and we equal it to an incoming value. So if any item in your program uses the name property in a way that implies that they're wanting to put information into the variable, it will grab that incoming value, and you can see value here as a keyword, and it will equal it to our private variable. So I talked about how we can create a kind of a barrier for setting information. So maybe I want to make sure that my set, go ahead and set up our get. That has to be a big D on my date. Maybe we're just using month names. So if I want to make sure that my incoming value is equal to July, and if that's true, then okay, I'll let you set that value into the date variable. If that's not true, then this isn't going to happen, and I'm not going to let that value to be set. So this is one of the ways that we can control the information and make sure that the values being set into our class variables are appropriate by whatever standards you're setting through your conditions by using get and set accessors in your public properties.